Big news on Capitol Hill with the House passing a bipartisan bill that could affect 170 million TikTok users here in the U.S. It would require the social media platform's Chinese parent company to either sell TikTok or face a nationwide ban. The bill now moves to the Senate.
This is such a huge story, but it's not only the federal government that's taking on social media. Florida lawmakers passing a bill last week which prevents children under 16 from even creating those social media accounts, with an exception for 14 and 15-year-olds who receive parental consent. So let's bring in right now the Speaker of the Florida House of Representatives, Representative Paul Renner. Welcome to GMA3.
Great to be with you.
Absolutely. So before we get to what happened there in Florida, let's go ahead and talk about what happened with the U.S. House of Representatives, because they just passed that bill yesterday, which could lead to that nationwide TikTok ban. What's your reaction?
Well, look, China is not our friend. They are an adversary, and we should all be concerned about their influence over our children, over everyone in the country. But our focus is entirely different in Florida. We've really looked at these social media platforms in terms of how they use addictive features and addiction as a business model. And especially when it comes to kids, we always treat adults and children differently, and we want to make sure we protect them because we see the mental health harms that result from too much time online.
Let's talk about the social media legislation that y'all just passed in Florida. Why did you think it was needed, and what are you hoping it's going to accomplish?
Well, look, if you'd asked me a year ago, I would say, yeah, kids are online too much, but, you know, what's the big deal? But once you start looking at this, you realize it's the equivalent of leaving them in a dark, dangerous alley when they spend hours and hours a day on these platforms. And we know from law enforcement that this is where a lot of sexual predators prey on children. Many and most, in fact, of the crimes against children happen online. And also the mental health harms. We know that 2 hours or more a day, you start to see those mental health harms. Over 3 hours, twice the rates of depression. And we have today almost a third of our teenage girls who have contemplated suicide in the last year. So these platforms are having a devastating effect on our children. And so we focus not on content, but on the addictive features, and said that we want children to be off platforms that use addiction as a business model to trap them online and make a profit.
And I think that's what so many parents are thinking about, the mental health issues that could be related to this. Which social media platforms would be affected by this bill?
You know, I don't know the answer to that because we didn't focus on that. We really just looked, Gio, at, you know, are they using these personalized algorithms to literally target your child and gather data on them and then guide them along the way like a parent would to make sure that they stay online? Are they using these addictive features like infinite scroll and autoplay? Are they allowing the download and upload of content, including from a stranger, to our children? And do they have a situation where kids are spending at least 2 hours a day online as an evidence of the addiction? So it's only if all four of those conditions are met do they qualify under our bill. Otherwise, kids can get online, kids can have businesses online, and do things with platforms that act responsibly with our children, and that's what we're focused on.
Let's talk about this age restriction, though, that you guys have, because let's be real. You sign on to these social media accounts, you could put whatever age you want. Nobody actually is looking over your shoulder to do it. How do you make sure that these kids are of the appropriate age to be getting on these platforms?
Well, that's right. And, you know, there's already federal law that restricts children under 13 that have these personalized algorithms, yet the platforms know there's 8, 9, 10-year-olds on there today. So they're just not doing anything to enforce the laws that are already on the books. So what we said is, look, the Attorney General of the state of Florida can have an action against them, $50,000 per violation. They can seek punitive damages if there's a pattern or practice that they're willfully not doing what they need to do to make sure kids are of a proper age. But also the parent. Look, if a kid gets online without their parents' knowledge or consent, the platform allows them on there by just a wink and a nod, that the parent also would have a cause of action. And I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a lot like tobacco or opioids, where massive judgments against these companies are going to come down for literally killing our kids and destroying their childhood.
All right. Florida House Speaker Paul Renner, thank you so much for being on to talk with us about this.
Thank you.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.